Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the preacher. Okay. Oh, I have not forgotten about the Lewis twins. Rest in peace. Reading. I have not forgotten about it. Actually, I fell asleep early last night, and when I woke up, I just wasn't feeling it anymore. And I said, I'll just wait until, it hits, and then I'll roll with it. But for right now, you know, when it comes to the Black community, more men are just regular dudes that make, regular money. More dudes live in that tax bracket, that class, than any other. You know, are there some, rich Black dudes out there? Of course. Yes, I think there are a lot of rich Black dudes out there. And I take my hat off to them. But for the most part, more men fall in the regular category. Are there some, dirt poor brothers out there? Of course. We have a lot of homeless brothers, you know. We have a lot of homeless brothers, but they still do not outnumber any brother with a job living somewhere, you know, contributing to the tax paying system, you know, all the way up to the brother who owns a home, runs his own business, probably still pulling a W 2, even if it's part time, got other gigs. Some brothers are like really on top of their game, but they still have not broken that barrier to be considered like rich. You know what I'm saying? Like a red pill type rich. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that all rich Black men are red pillars. No. We got some rich Black men that treat women with equity, equality, stuff like that. So some rich Black men do treat women the way women feel they deserve to be treated. And then you have the red pill type. And there's a range of those guys, um, where, it's their way or, the highway next kind of thing. And they feel it's okay to always have multiple women for the most part. So, but this video is to address why the regular dude that's not considered rich, he's not considered poor, you know, he's just working, paying taxes, doing the best he can where he stands. Okay. With all that being said, I believe both my first and second marriages, I married men that were like me, regular. I'm a regular kind of girl, not rich, not poor, regular. Come from regular working class people, you know. I happen to come from family, a family that, mostly, own homes and own businesses and, earn pensions. Although that is kind of gone. No one really has a pension today. But but that's where I come from. I'm 55. I'll be 56 this year. So you'll have an idea of, who's talking. So so the regular dude by a certain age, if he has not married, before he know it and look up and look around, most women his age have been married already, if not divorced already, and have children. Most women. So let's say a guy is 25 years old. By the time a guy is 25, most girls, most women that he grew up with, had access to, are married, divorced, and have children. And of the girls, women that are his age, let's say 25, if they are not married, divorced with kids by now, then they're still very career focused, still trying to, gain access to wealth on their own before they commit and submit to a partner and perhaps have children and yada, yada, yada. And then of those group of women, some will never have children, never have no desire at all. They're just wealthy, full steam ahead. So, this is just among regular dudes. We're talking just regular dudes. This is kind of like how it rock and rolls. So let's roll back to the women who are married, divorced, and with kids by the time the average regular dude, working class man, living somewhere, paying taxes into the system. By the time he's 25, these women have had these type of men in their life. Let's see. The average woman by that time, her husband is probably about 20 years older than her. You know what I mean? So either he left her for the next younger woman along the way, or he died, you know. Another group of women, she married her sweet high school sweetheart, you know what I mean? Her high school sweetheart, possibly even a college sweetheart, something along those lines, you know. And once he, hit the next tax bracket within the regular, he's not rich, but he's making more money than he's ever made now. So he wants to upgrade, you know. Or you just have the kind of guy who just lost all his steam and became poor. He dipped down to the lower class. And so then now you got this woman who has to figure out how to, you know, keep her family in the regular tax bracket. She don't want to pull her entire family down there with the husband. So, there's so many ways to look at it, you know. So let's say you're a 25-year-old man, you're black, and maybe you have some college education, maybe you graduated, you have a decent paying job, you have a home, you may even be a homeowner. And yeah, you know how to, take care of yourself. You're very independent. You're not depending on your parents for much at all, but you still just go over there anyway, just hanging out and stuff. And you've been through a few women, you make a little money, you know how to dress and smell good. So, you've had, your option of, women here and there. You're not doing bad for yourself. But for some reason, there's a part of you that really want to settle down because you can see how perhaps financially it can benefit you to have a family. Um, you just see that, more guys are talking about it. you know, whatever reason, is taught at your church. Um, More guys are actually doing it, and so you just feel ready. Whatever, it's that time. But you look up, you look around, and you're like, man, hmm. Well, I see that the women that are career focused, may not be ready to settle to be mothers. And then the women that are already mothers, of course, you have the ones that have never been married, and they're mothers, you know. So, of course, you can choose from them, or you can choose from women who have been married before and are divorced and they're mothers. And at least they have some experience with actual marriage. You know how marriage works, how it could benefit not only just you, but herself, the kids. She will have a little bit more understanding on how marriage can benefit the entire family. So there are men who will pick either category. The moment they do it, the moment a man says I do and signs the paperwork and file it with the courthouse, he can go to HR and up the exemptions. His paycheck can increase immediately. And then that year, that year that he got married, he can claim everybody on his taxes. You know, he can put a photo on his desk at work. You know, he can really gain instant gratification. I mean, like immediately. I'm not saying the woman don't, please, but this title is about men, you know, how men benefit instantly by taking on a family. Then, of course, if he was cooking all by himself mostly, before, now he has more help in the kitchen. He has more help with cleaning and more help with, you know, stuff around the house. And depending on the woman, he may not ever have to cook again, do laundry again, do anything like that around the house again, depending on the woman. So financially, there's instant gratification, or work around the house, there's instant gratification, and if the kids have visits with their dad, then shucks, man, you even get scheduled time with your wife. So, there are so many built in benefits in that system. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I know that, you know, the red pill uh, movement teach that none of that matters. You know what I mean? you know, kind of thing, But I'm just explaining that regular dudes, to the regular dude, it can matter a lot to be able to increase your tax exemptions. I mean, like immediately see your paycheck increase, sometimes by a few $100s a paycheck. And then you get this large tax return at the end. But if you claim enough people, at the end, it'll just kind of be closer to zero, as long as you don't have to pay. You know what I mean? Who wants to pay? I mean, in the regular man's, tax bracket, as long as you're not paying, you feel you cool. Now, men that are in the rich category, of course, they think differently. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about the regular dude. The regular dude, a few extra $100 a paycheck, and then you get to get maybe like somewhere between like 5, 10,000 at the end of the year, just because you took on a family. So, and then if you know how to be involved with the family just enough, where you ain't overstepping the mother's boundaries, overstepping any other father's boundaries and all that stuff, but you step up. You gotta fill any voids. That's your job. But look at all the other benefits you get. You get instant financial benefit. You have access to this woman. And if you really play your cards right, them kids can be gone every other weekend, summers, and all this other stuff. You get her to yourself. Only thing I would suggest is, depending on your age, her age, well, I'm saying, giving the example of age 25, take your time having your own kids with her. Take your time. There's no hurry. At this point, you're ahead of the game. She's happy just because she got somebody else that's playing his part. So if you pace yourself just right, her other kids could pretty much be out the way. And then y'all start y'all family. She'll still be young enough. And then y'all have all these babysitters. The other kids feel like you were good to them, and they'll be more than happy to help y'all with y'all kids. And y'all kids will be coming up with their kids. I mean, no matter what poor men complain about and what red pillars brag about, the regular dude, and I think they slap the word simps on y'all, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm just pointing out the benefits based on my experience in life, based on, what I have observed. It just depends on how you want to pace family life. Because remember, you have to remember, as a man, you chose to wait too. You chose to wait till you were 25, 30. You know what I mean? You want to handle other business and affairs. You know, there's consequences, pros and cons to waiting or getting that over with at 18 compared to age 18, you know, or waiting till you know, 50, 60. There's pros and cons to all of it. No matter what age you are, there's pros and cons to being that particular age before you start a family and how you start the family. There's cause and effect at any age, any stage. And I'm addressing just regular men, just, any working class man that's not considered rich nor poor, you know, working class, living somewhere, paying money into the system, probably punching the clock. You may have your own business, you know, that kind of dude. There may come a point where you have to decide, do I want to, you know, commit to a woman that's where I'm at, or a woman who has already started this family thing and has experience at it. And I don't have to, start from scratch, so to speak. It's like hiring a new employee that has no experience, just finished college pretty much, or, hiring someone that's been working in that field for a couple of years, you know, someone with experience versus, you know, someone that doesn't have any. that's starting from scratch, basically just like you. So each man has his own decision to make. And, of course, the poor man bracket can have the same decision in his life, you know, and the rich man may have the same type of decisions in his life too. But my experience has been just, the regular dude. So that's where I'm speaking from and explaining why such a man may consider a ready made family and what his options may be on the type of ready made families out there. The kind where the mother has never been legally married, and the kinds where the mothers have been legally married before, compared to other types or the range of single women that have never been married and do not have children as himself. I started my conversation for men, black men at age 25, faced with this decision. By the time a black man in the regular workforce is 25 years old, his option of women that do not have children, that has never been married before, it's that it's a small pool to choose from. And then among those women are a range of women, the different type of mindsets to consider. So if a man is truly a family man, a black person, by the time he's 25, he has to look at his own growth, his own financial growth, his own ability to govern a family. He has to look at his own history and his own personal goals and then decide what can he afford. Some men need a ready-made family to go ahead and kick up his income immediately. You know what I'm saying? Jumpstart his life. And if he get a woman, that's has certain skills and stuff, then she'll know exactly based on her experience how to navigate the system. So it just depends on how you look at it when you're dealing with men in this particular working class. Just my little thoughts, guys. Nothing too deep. Nothing that you may not have considered before. But, it occurred to me right now. And again, I'm working on a theory that I'm developing along the way and just, sharing random ideas and stuff and being motivated by, current events and the Bible and, you know, things like that. And it's called The Eternal Deficit of Mankind, explaining how we owe God, the Most High God, how we owe Him based on the decisions that we make, the actions and steps that we take, whether they are ordered by Most High or not, will be calculated. And we must give an account, whether good or bad. And the decisions that we make as men and women, as we raise families, all matter. So click like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and share my videos. I have 6,000 videos now. Oh my goodness. And I have 2,400 subscribers. I'm just growing. It's a slow grow, but hey, I'm happy. I am not complaining. I'm still celebrating and just wanted to touch on this. These are some of the pros, some of the positive reasons why, men consider ready made families. Now, are there challenges with it? Oh, heck yeah. That's a different video. I have no problem talking about the challenges. In fact, my whole channel talks about the challenges. Crazy. But I did want to share the upside, especially when we live in a world where we have these different types of red pill guys. But rich guys, some of them did come from the regular guy pool. Some regular guys blow up and they become rich, and they pull their attitude with them. So they don't consider themselves red pillars. Kind of like Sierra's husband. He's a rich man. He could be a red pill guy if he really wanted to, but he just choose not to be. He just act like, hey, I'm just a regular dude. I love my girl. She just happened to have a kid already, but it's Sierra, y'all. So, ooh, child. I'm just saying. I mean, I know the red pillars say it don't matter how a woman look, so to speak. When it comes to how you treat a woman, it don't matter how you look. Looks just get you in the door with them, but that's about it. Just because it gets you in the door don't mean you're special. You know what I mean? And that's fine. I mean, that's how those men are, and the women that they attract are cool. I don't have a problem with it. But I'm just explaining how some rich men can be the kind that regular women can relate to. Any woman can relate to. Boom. All right, guys. So, once again, I am not monetized anywhere on social media yet. I'm not, big enough. And in the meantime, I do have PayPal for those who uh, want to bless me. It's appreciated. Thank you in advance. My PayPal is Dr. Leisha the Preacher, just like on my channel. Stay tuned in, and very soon I will do a reading, start the reading on the brothers, the Lewis twins. Rest in peace. I want to look a little deeper on my own, of course, just on my channel, this little bitty channel. I'm small potatoes, so I'm not, causing any harm. But I just want to, on my own, in my own way, just look a little deeper into it based on what they're trying to sell us now. All right, so you all be blessed and have a wonderful day. Again, thank you.